Good morning, everybody. All my tennis fans. Hope you're all doing well. All right. U.S. Open 2023 quarterfinals are up. The first round of quarterfinals is happening today, and the second round is happening tomorrow. So today is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. So we have three Americans in the quarterfinals. All of them are on the Djokovic side. And on the other side, Alcaraz is playing Zverev tomorrow. Medvedev is playing. Who's Medvedev playing? Rublev. So it's an all Russian battle tomorrow. Okay, let's talk about today's quarterfinals. Djokovic is playing Taylor Fritz today, and Tiafo and Ben Shelton are fighting for the other semifinal spot. Okay, just to be very clear and honest here, I'm not going to take much time. Fritz has never beaten Djokovic in seven of his meetings in the past. So he's 0-7 against Djokovic. Does he have a chance tonight? With home crowd supporting him in a U.S. Open quarterfinal? Probably. I'll give him maybe a 5% chance to upset Djokovic, but he has to play his A game. And Djokovic has to have a bad game, either a service game or just tired legs or whatnot from his previous matches. But Fritz has to bring his A game, which is like the way he played against Rafael Nadal in Indian Wells semifinal or final actually in 2022. He was. I think Nadal's serve is Djokovic's serve is slightly better than Nadal's serve, but Nadal can put the ball in the spots too. He's improved his serve quite a bit. He may have been injured in that final against Taylor Fritz last year in Indian Wells, but still, I felt like Fritz took it up to him. He put a lot of pressure on Nadal's second serve, especially. He was moving up inside the court and really hitting the ball cleanly. I think it may or may not work against Djokovic, but Taylor Fritz has to definitely try and do that, especially on Djokovic's second serve. Give it a shot, see how it goes, for a set or so. And if it's not working, then of course, basically you just have to come up with either, I don't know what Fritz can do because he's a baseline player as well. He's not as quick as Djokovic. So I give him a 5% chance to beat Djokovic tonight just because it's US Open quarterfinal. And the home crowd may get him going a little bit if he is in his groove. But I see Djokovic moving on to the semifinal in that match. The other match between two Americans, Ben Shelton and Francis Tiafoe. Okay, Tiafoe has reached the semifinals last year. He lost to Alcaraz in a tough five-set battle. I didn't expect Tiafoe to actually reach quarterfinals, but I think in the lower half of the draw, where Tiafoe and Djokovic are, most of the top players, they were either unpredictable top players, especially at this level, and they haven't been playing as well this year, in my opinion. Like Rude, Rune, Tsitsipas, they all lost early in the first and second rounds. Tiafoe, I think against Ben Shelton, I'm going to pick Tiafoe to win that quarterfinal and move on to face Djokovic in the semifinal. That's my prediction. But here's what I'll say about Ben Shelton. Ben Shelton, if he can somehow focus, I'm not going to compare him to Carlos Alcaraz just because they're the same age, but I I've been watching Ben Shelton. The hype behind him seems to be real. Just because the kid has a lot of potential. He's a big guy. He's a 6'4". with the big serve, with the big forehand. He's a lefty. He's pretty athletic. He's quick in the court. Um, the only thing that he has a long ways to go to get to the top 10 level, top 5 level, I guess, but he has a higher ceiling, in my opinion. If he can somehow put his mental side together with his physical side, I think he's going to be a very tough animal to beat. He's going to be a beast. If he really can, he has the size, he has the strength, he has the game. The only thing that I don't know about Ben Shelton is he focused enough? Can he, or is he's not a Nick Kyrgios, because I'm not going to insult Ben Shelton, because I think he has a lot more potential. Kyrgios had potential too, but I think he is, I'm not going to call him a crackhead, but I think he's not right up here. So that's why Kyrgios didn't see as much success. But again, if Shelton can somehow take tennis seriously, and I'm sure he is, but he's still young. He has to mature quite a bit. But if he's not, I don't know who Ben Shelton is, to be honest with you. If he's a party animal, or if he likes to party, if he doesn't train enough or hard enough, thinking that he's this physical specimen and he can just go out there and beat everybody just because he's a beast, he's got the power and strength, I think he won't succeed as much, he won't see as much success as his potential. But if he trains hard, if he takes tennis seriously enough, if he has the determination to be a top 5 player, even a top 1 player in the United States, or in the world, I think I think he is going to be a very, very difficult player to beat in the future. I hope he develops into a true competitor to Carlos Alcaraz, because he has the potential. If Ben Shelton, the way he beat Tommy Paul in the 4th round, oh my God, it was mind blowing. Not just his fast serves, but also his power, his athleticism, his movement in the court, his forehand, even his backhand isn't as bad. The only thing I saw in him was how consistent is this kid going to be, and how strong is he mentally? Physically, yeah, he's strong and powerful, but can he grind? Can he, if the rallies go longer, can he exchange baseline rallies with some of these top players? Does he have the patience to do that? So basically, what I'm saying is Ben Shelton can become a beast only if he is ready to grind, only if he wants to put in the effort on the court, and not really shorten the points. Because all these analysts talking about Ben Shelton's game right now, I know they want him to shorten the points because there are other consistent players who will actually eat him, and then consistently hit baseline rallies back and forth, because Shelton's going to pull the trigger and maybe make a mistake. So if Shelton can learn somehow and improve, his mental side, he may be mentally strong. I just don't know. I haven't seen it. But if he can grind and win some 3, 4, 5-setter, not 3 but 5-setter matches against these top players, and learn from that, even if he loses, I think he'll be a very, very difficult player to beat in the future. I don't see Tiafoe is a much better player mentally. I think he's a more mature player. He knows he's an older player too than Shelton. So I think Ben Shelton, unless he replicates the same level of play that he did in the 4th round against Tommy Paul, I don't see him get past Tiafoe in the quarterfinal. So I'm gonna pick Tiafoe just for those reasons. But hey, maybe this is Ben Shelton's time. Maybe this is the time to shine. Maybe he'll show all of us. He'll prove all of us wrong. I hope he does. But if he goes to the semifinal, same thing. I'm gonna pick the other player like Djokovic to beat him. Djokovic is a different animal, of course. We all know that. But I'm going to pick Tiafo for those reasons to go and play semifinal with Djokovic this year. And I think Djokovic will defeat Tiafo in the semifinal to reach his 2023 US Open Grand Slam final. On the other side, Zverev and Sinner's match, oh my goodness, what a match that was. When the draw came out, initially I was thinking Carlos Alcaraz, like most of the other guys, was thinking that Carlos Alcaraz has the toughest route to the final because of who he had to go through or has to go through to get there. Especially, I predicted a Sinner or Zverev in the quarterfinal, but I thought Sinner, the level that he displayed in Toronto, I thought, and again, of course, we're all victims of what happened in the quarterfinals of US Open 2022. It was a five-setter. Sinner had a match point in the fourth set. He won two tiebreaks against Alcaraz, and he lost it. So, and we saw what happened in Indian Wells and Miami this year. Sinner won Miami semifinals against Alcaraz. That was a great match. But he lost in the Indian Wells semifinal to Alcaraz. That was a great match as well. So, we thought the Sinner Alcaraz rivalry has already begun, but we thought maybe the tables will turn this time. Maybe Sinner, if he meets Alcaraz in the quarterfinal, I thought that he has a great chance of beating Alcaraz, but I wasn't so sure that Alcaraz would just fold. He was not going to, because Alcaraz is in great form. Cincinnati final, I don't want to talk about that right now, but I think it was a good lesson for Alcaraz. I think it happened, for the right reasons for him, because Cincinnati Masters would have given him a Masters title, but I think that would have put too much pressure on him again if he had to meet Djokovic in the final of US Open, because he has been beating Djokovic since the Wimbledon final. Now, if had he won Cincinnati final, it would have been Djokovic probably would have had much more motivation. He would have been vengeful. Maybe would have increased his level even more to beat Alcaraz in the U.S. Open final if they were to meet again. So I think whatever happened in Cincy final happened. Happened for the best in Alcaraz's situation. I think he's going to be more determined to actually win the title. And if he meets Djokovic in the final, it's going to be a hell of a match. So I'm looking forward to that. But let's talk about the semifinal or quarterfinal between Carlos and Zverev. I think after physically, both Sinner and Zverev were completely tired at the end of the match. I feel bad for Sinner because he started cramping in the third set, and I don't think he was the same player, that we saw in the past. Physically, I think Sinner has to do something. I think he has to change his coach, to be honest. I think Darren Cahill, as good as a commentator and an analyst as he is, and I like Darren Cahill because I've been watching him for many years now, on the Tennis Channel and ESPN or whatnot. But I think Cahill needs to, Sinner needs to change his coach. He definitely needs to get a better coach, in my opinion. I think he has to improve his physicality. I think he did, but for some reason, I think it was hot and humid as well in New York this year. All players are suffering and complaining, I guess. And the night session, I think the humidity was even higher. It was so hard I think both Zverev and Sinner are both baseline players. So anyway, long story short, both of them struggled physically, and Zverev came on top. Basically, that's my take on that round of 16 match between Sinner and Zverev. Carlos Alcaraz versus Zverev. Zverev is 27 years old. Yes, he's still young enough. He's in the prime of his career. Is he going to recover? I think he's going to recover to be able to play fresh in the first set. But after that, if there are long rallies between Zverev and Alcaraz, I think his legs will be tight. His arms will be tight. He's going to be tight. So I don't see Zverev winning at all that quarterfinal match. Maybe it'll go to a like a fourth set. But I think Carlos will. I'm not going to say eat away Zverev, but he's going to win quite comfortably in four sets, if not in straight sets. That's my take. So that's an easy pick. The other quarterfinal between who's the other guy? Who's playing in the other quarterfinal? Oh, Medvedev and Rublev. Oh, that's a tough pick. Medvedev, I think Rublev. First of all, Rublev has never reached a semifinal of a Grand Slam before. Number one. Number two, I think head to head against Medvedev, Rublev's head to head against Medvedev on a hard court is not as good. So I'm not gonna straight away pick Medvedev to win this quarterfinal. I think Rublev, if he doesn't choke, like he usually does, because once he gets down on himself too much, I've seen Rublev just fade away, makes too many mistakes, unforced errors. Really, they're not forced. Medvedev is a very, very consistent baseline player, as you all know. If Rublev doesn't get down on himself too much in the match, and which is I think is unlikely that's going to happen. He's a very self critiquing kind of a player. But I think Rublev has a shot. To be honest, that's a toss up for me. I know Medvedev has won U.S. Open in the past, and he considers himself as a hard court specialist. But I think Rublev has a shot against Medvedev. My heart says Rublev, but my mind says Medvedev. But it's a toss up for me, honestly, But I think I'm going to pick Medvedev to reach the quarterfinal or the semifinal. And he's going to face Alcaraz in the semifinal of US Open this year. My pick in the semifinal is Alcaraz, obviously. I don't think Medvedev has a good head-to-head number one, and also it's not a good matchup for him. Whether it's Rublev or Medvedev, I think Alcaraz is going to reach the final against Djokovic this year. And in the final, I'm going to pick Alcaraz to win. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy for him, but I think Alcaraz wins in four sets. That's my take. If it goes to a fifth, I think Alcaraz will still win, but I think Alcaraz will finish off Djokovic this time in four sets. And will win his third Grand Slam title and second US Open title. And eventually will regain his number one ranking before the end of the year. That's my take. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed my take. And if you have any questions or comments, please do post. And I'll respond as I see them. Okay? All right. Have a good day.